This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So I'm pretty sure I know everyone, but for the people who may not know me, I'm Liz Handzus, new 2-Gen coordinator here at Blueprints.
And I'm Hilary Clark. I'm also a 2-Gen coordinator here at Blueprints. Good to see you.
So this is our very first training of 6 total trainings for family center coaching. So we're really excited to get these started and meet with you weekly. We do want everyone to get the most out of these trainings as they possibly can. So I think everyone has their camera on, but if you don't, if possible to turn it on, that would be great. If you aren't speaking, please mute your mic just so there's no background noise or echoing. And then if you're connected to the VPN, please disconnect because that's caused some issues in our previous trainings. And then as I've said before, we are recording this training. So today, for our very first training, we're going to go over family-centered coaching in general, the concept of it, why we are doing it, what and who is a coach, and coaching versus case management. So just to give you guys some background about family-centered coaching and how it relates to Blueprints and its role in our work. In 2019, Hilary and some other case managers, along with some management, went to the Brighton Center in Kentucky for a conference. And while they were there, they learned about family center coaching. The Brighton Center was using this method with their participants, and they saw a lot of success within their programs and better relationships formed with their participants in general. So as you know, we've been trying this 2-generational approach, this whole family approach to engage the parents and the families. And when they came back, they knew that in order to be successful in that, we needed to implement family-centered coaching at Blueprints. So a group called the Prosperity Agenda is who trained the Brighton Center staff, and we asked them to come and train us as well. So we began that journey in 2019. They came in July of 2019, and they trained about 30 staff on family center coaching. And then in October of 2019, they came back and trained about 15 of those staff on how to teach it and implement it to be successful within Blueprints. So I know Jess Hollier was in those trainings as well. So one of the changes that we're trying to implement with this new adopted practice is some of the verbiage we use. And we use client a lot, and while there's nothing wrong with the word client whatsoever, one of the many things the Prosperity Agenda taught us, along with their time at the Brighton Center, they learned of using participant or families rather than client while we're enrolling these families, and we're entering into that equal partnership with them. So we found that they prefer to be called participants. They're participating in the partnership, they're participating in our programs, we're serving their family. So that it may be a silly change to some, and it might take a while to implement that and get it part of your common phrases, but we do think that is a more softer term and more endearing to call them participants.
So the main question is, what is family-centered coaching? So the technical term for family-centered coaching is that it's a coaching module that provides a holistic approach to working with families. Family-centered coaching provides a set of strategies, tools, and resources which can help human service organizations reinvent how they engage with families that are experiencing poverty. So basically, in a nutshell, family-centered coaching is our new way of doing business and working with our families. It is our new case management model that we have adopted, and it is going agency-wide. This module will show us how to put our families in the driver's seat by utilizing the tools given, learning different strategies that they provide, and asking them powerful questions. We will be able to coach them to success. The question that pops up is, do you believe the participant has the answers to their challenges, or do you believe that you're the expert to their challenges? Coaching is built on the premise that the participants actually have the answers. And this means we really must believe that they do have the answers. And for some staff, this might require some time to adopt a new approach, but this is a way we work with the participants, and it'll definitely change the power dynamic, and especially if you're used to being the expert in resolving the problems. So with me, with family-centered coaching, hypothetically speaking, if you went to college for anything in the human service field or social work, you're almost wired in college to fix the problem. So when somebody would come to my office and they would tell me their problem before they were even finished, I was like, girl, I got this. I already know where I can send you, how I can help you. Like, don't even worry about this. But family-centered coaching teaches us patience and teaches us a different strategy and utilizes different tools to put the ball back in their court and to trigger different neuron pathways in their brain to help them come up with a solution to their own problem. So in reality, we're working smarter and not harder. And it's almost silly why we haven't been doing this in the beginning, but it's brilliant work and it will truly lead them to success. Plus, it also provides empowerment for our participants because we are the ones putting them in the driver's seat, and they are the ones that are making the decisions. And empowerment comes by confidence builds by them coming up with the solutions to their problems.
I do want to say, if anybody has any questions or comments at any time, feel free to interject. We do want this to be more of a laid back, casual training. So just to throw that out there. So why are we doing this? Blueprints has been discussing a new case management model for a while now, just to streamline our approaches, our intake process, and to create a better experience for our participants and ultimately lead to more success for the participants and our programs in general. With our current case management model, a lot of the times a participant will come in, we fix their problem, and they go on their way. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to come back with the same problem and usually a slew of other problems on top of that. So we started asking, are we actually helping them this way? And with family-centered coaching, as Hilary stated, we're putting the families in the driver's seat to make those decisions for their life. They're the expert on their life, their situation, and their journey, and they have their set of goals. So family-centered coaching is a way to put them in that driver's seat and coach them along the way, equipping them with the tools and resources that they needed, and really being their cheerleader to help them face those problems if they ever come up again.
So another question that comes up is, what is a coach? So these are our case managers or any of our staff who work with our families in a case management role. Does anybody have any questions about family-centered coaching so far? Liz is going to show us a clip, give or take about 13 minutes, to further explaining what coaching is. Devin, the man in the video, he's brilliant. He was actually one of the coaches that came to Blueprints to teach us about family-centered coaching. And also in this video, he will reference different tools and resources you might not recognize just yet, but be patient because each tool and resource will be incorporated in the upcoming trainings. So we will become more aware of the terms and the tools that he's saying.
Hilary, before you hit play, I did want to just kind of mention, you know, we're attending these trainings with you guys, and this is really a way of instilling and just kind of beefing up the way that we are currently working with families. I don't even remember the last time I called a family a client. You know, it's been a very long time, and it is about coaching piece and guiding them rather than, you know, giving them those answers. And I can speak for, you know, our Head Start and Early Head Start crew that's on here with us, and even you and Liz, like, I know how you guys have been working with families for a long time. I think you guys did a great job of explaining this to us, so thank you for that. You know, what a compliment to now have for our program. So
yeah, and like Hilary said, it may be new information to some, but we do believe there's a lot of people at Blueprints currently that are already doing this. They're already doing a majority of what we're going to be teaching them. But throughout the trainings, you'll see the different tools and resources that will just help to send that further. You know, it's just going to propel our work even further and help build that relationship with the participant. So we're going to go ahead and start this video.
Hi, my name is Devin Stubblefield with the Prosperity Agenda. Welcome to Coaching Up Close. This is our new mini-series designed to work in some quick tips into your busy schedule to help you to improve your coaching skills. But first, let me introduce the Prosperity Agenda. For those of you who don't know, TPA is a nonprofit that's working to end persistent poverty by focusing on changing the way we think about, build programs for, and coach families under financial stress. Coaching is, of course, part of our DNA here at the Prosperity Agenda, and we work with organizations all over the country on their coaching programs. So again, we'd like to welcome you to this series. Now, before we jump in, if you're joining us live, we'll be having a Q&A session at the end. So please save your questions until that point. All right? All right, let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about what is coaching. And I like to say this. Coaching is, in my opinion, the most creative profession in the world because it gives you an opportunity to work with a participant with a blank canvas. You're starting out allowing that participant to tell you exactly where they are, what's going on, what they need. And as you're in this interaction with them, you're beginning to paint a picture. You're painting this ultimate picture of their transformation, and that happens during the conversation. And again, so that's why I say it's the most creative profession in the world, because this dynamic is happening during the relationship, during the conversation, and it unfolds over time. Now, here's the thing. In order to do that, it requires you to be fully present with a few things. The first of all, with curiosity. You have to be as inquisitive as necessary to help the participant to really go deep into their own self-discovery. They are figuring out what's what, how they're feeling, what they want to do, how they're going to do it, and they may be also seeking answers and solutions. So you being very curious to help draw out where they are is really key to this process. And then you have to move into collaboration. This is where the engagement kind of feels like synchronicity, where you're actually what we call dancing in the moment. And the participant is saying a few things, you're responding, you're saying a few things, they're responding, and then we have this dance going on. And so when you're in that space with them, you create this trust, this intimacy that can only be generated when you have this synchronicity going on. And then you have the partnership aspect. This is the support part. This is when they already know about your agency, your organization. But what I'm talking about is when you, as the coach, are bringing that human element into the conversation. You're becoming the support, not necessarily the system. And that feels a little bit differently. This means that you're moving in that place of rapport with them, no biases, no prejudgment, no unwarranted opinions. It's really this permission-based interaction so that the participant always remains and feels like they are in the element of choice. So what is coaching? Coaching is a mindset. It's like the internal code that guides how you're showing up during the coaching conversation. So for example, in our coaching training, we have a few mindsets like focus on strengths, rapport building, listening for values, forwarding the action and deepening the learning, and active listening. Those are mindsets that really help facilitate the process as far as that's concerned. Then we talk about coaching is built on the premise that the participant have the answers. Now, that means that you are really believing that they do have their own answers and supporting that through your engagement. Now, it doesn't mean that they have all the answers. They have some of the answers, and those answers may be pertaining to themselves. Because sure, they may not know all the information about resources, referrals, or bits of information that could help them to, really complete your program. They may not know things like that, but they do know things about themselves. We say that the participants are the expert of their own lives. Okay, so what coaching is an approach. It's like a call and response where the participant comes in and they have their mood, their vibe, their overall essence, and their energy that's showing up during the conversation. So that's the call. And the response part is the approach in which the coach actually is responding to that call. And so we say that during the course of this type of interaction, this call and response, you may be sharing information, you might be exploring ideas, or you might be discussing or planning a goal or setting a goal. And so that's what this whole thing is about in terms of this call and response. Again, we're trying to help that person to get to the answer or the solution, whatever that answer and solution might be. Now, during that process, we're going to uncover motivation, okay? We think about what is really going to help that person decide to take the next step. So yes, we are talking about maybe the stages of change. And so during that process, as you're in this call and response, you're noticing what stage of change is showing up today. Is it contemplation? Is it preparation? Is it action? Okay, whatever it is, your approach is going to be based on that thing. And so what coaching is coaching skills or competencies. There are many different coaching competencies that lots of different coaching trainings have around the country. And you may be very familiar with some of them, like asking powerful questions, active listening, clearing, bottom lining, holding the focus. These are competencies that really would support you facilitating the process of this participant-led, client-led conversation. Now, with that, I want to share something with you that I think is very important, that during the conversation, when we're getting into discussion, meeting them where they are, the coach actually is, again, responding, but here's what also happens. There's a kind of a provocation or a provoking, if you would. Now, I don't mean that in a negative sense, but what I mean by that is the relationship that's being really worked on during the conversation is eliciting a response. So that's why we ask the powerful questions. That's why we are doing active listening, because we want to get to the next level of information, the next level of self-discovery, the next level of what is it going to take to help this person to really feel like they can actually take the next step from this conversation. So again, that's a provoking, if you would. Now, the other part of that is when you are engaged in these conversations, there's another skill that I'm going to say is more about you, and that is self-management. Self-management is that process where you're being very aware of your own self during the interaction, which means that you're going to not allow yourself to get in the way of the participant. You may want to take a step back and not to bring forth a particular opinion or bring forth an idea that might be unsolicited. You want to make sure that, again, that you stay out of the participant's way, but at the same time, you're being still 100% fully present, but again, it's all about them. Now, when we talk about defining coaching, I want to share with you what the International Coach Federation says is their definition of coaching, and I quote, the International Coach Federation says, coaching is partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. That's pretty cool. Okay, so it's really about this thought-provoking and creative process. And I do agree with that 100%. And that's why, again, getting back to my comment earlier about this being a very creative thing to do, yes, we are helping provoke that thought. We are making a space to where the creativity from that participant can come forth. Now, I gotta say this, when we talk about coaching, there is this thing about coaching tools. Now, there are plenty of coaching tools that are available with most coaching programs. And I gotta say this, I love coaching tools. They're like the Wheel of Life and some of the other tools that we use to help people or participants to really see where they are and to kind of assess that. And then we create a scenario where we can talk about what they want to do. Those are great. But here's the thing. I want to say this, and I really mean this. The tools are not the coach. The coach is the coach. And so I want to be very clear that when we are working with our participants, it's not just about putting a tool in front of them. It's about facilitating this conversation. Again, this participant-led conversation, and we use the tool to help forward the action or even deepen the learning. Now, I'm going to give you an analogy. So, when you are teaching a child how to ride a bicycle, first of all, you have to help that child to get up on the bike, then to help them to put their hands on the handlebars, and then to put their feet on the pedal, and then to actually push, right? And so in coaching, we call that scaffolding, where you are actually working with the participant to help them to get on this vehicle that's going to move them forward like that bicycle. But here it is. We're working with them to do this. We're not doing it for them. Just as that child, you're not going to sit on the bike and pedal for that child. You're going to put that child on the bike and then allow them to pedal for themselves. So remember, as we go on this journey with coaching, we are that passenger, right? That we are there, that support system that are there with that participant every step of the way. And so that's what I wanted to share with you about what coaching is. Again, coaching is a mindset, coaching is an approach, and coaching is skills. And so I wanted to make sure that we thought about that and that all of us really take this definition of coaching and move ourselves forward in this process. And so that's going to be it for today. I want to tell you that, we certainly
So as Devin stated in the video, the International Coach Federation's definition of coaching is partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. We want this to be a partnership with our families, and we let those relationships lead to successes for families where they're able to see and reach their higher potential.
So as Devin in the video alluded to, there are a lot, and Hilary stated earlier, there are a lot of things he said that might not make sense quite yet, such as like the stages of change or powerful questions or the Wheel of Life. We will be going over those in the later training, so hopefully it'll all connect as we go over these in the next coming weeks. But so as the video alluded to, many people are going to be asking, what's the difference between what we're doing now and family-centered coaching? And as we have referenced, with family-centered coaching, we're really putting the participant in the driver's seat and equipping them with the tools and resources needed to make effective decisions for their life. While we adopt this new practice, we do realize that there will be some families that will need more of a case manager approach at different times in their life, rather than coaching. So let's say there's a family that's about to be evicted. They have no income, no job prospects. In that case, you would use a case manager approach to fix that immediate need, to help them get that immediate need resolved, and then you would move into a coaching relationship. But as Hilary stated before, we're so wired to fix the problem, even if they aren't in crisis, that oftentimes they come back with the same problems over and over again. So as we learn about family-centered coaching and introduce all the tools and resources, we think it'll be a way to loosen those reins with your participants and equipping them for success. And that's one reason why we are labeling all case managers as coaches, because we really want this to be a coaching partnership. Case management will come in as needed, but we want you to be their coach, be their inspiration and their cheerleader to help them achieve their goals and remove barriers that may be keeping them from self-sufficiency. So another analogy that they used in family-centered coaching that we thought was pretty powerful is coaches maximize the strength of their players for the ultimate goal of winning the game. They aren't out on the field the whole time whispering in their ear, telling them what to do every step of the way. But during those breaks on the sidelines, they're giving them advice. They're telling them different ways to improve throughout the game so they can be led to success. So we really think that family-centered coaching will do that at Blueprints. We think that this approach will make a huge impact with our agency and with our participants. And once everyone's trained on family-centered coaching and all of the tools, we think it'll provide that better approach. And as Hilary loves to say, it's a way to work smarter and not harder. And we really don't want you to see this as more work for you to do. There are numerous tools in these trainings that you have to endure, but we think that this will be a way to work smarter and not harder, and really provide that extra boost that will help lead your families to success and really build that relationship with them. So that is it for our very first training. We did want to open it up to see if you guys have any questions about family-centered coaching, if you understand the difference between coaching and case management, and really kind of see what your thoughts are. What are your expectations moving forward?
I would just like to take note on us using the verbiage participants. I actually held a focus group. I had a 2-gen program at one time to beef all this stuff up so that way it could go agency-wide. And I held a focus group with the participants that I had in the families, and I asked them if they liked to be called client, and all of them told me no, and how there's a negative stigma attached to the word client, and all the negativity, and it's almost like when you call somebody client, they think of it as belittling and how they're lower on the totem pole. And I never particularly realized that until we went to the Brighton Center and they kept using the word participants and families. I was like, oh, that's we're entering into a partnership. That's brilliant. But I never got our participants' feedback from it until I held the focus group. And so that's why it's also encouraged from them that we start using participants and families.
Another question that we had earlier on in the trainings this week was from a West Virginia staff member who asked if this was really kind of relevant to them, with them solely focusing on foster care and adoption, when in PA we have like a slew of other programs. And I just did want to say, I know it's primarily early learning, but I do believe Sarah's on this call, so I just wanted to address that. We do believe that this is relevant to everyone at Blueprints because it's more of an approach. It's a way to work with our families and really delve into that relationship regardless of service area or program. The tools and resources that you'll see in the next coming weeks, and some of you have already seen them before, but it's just going to be a way to prolong that relationship and really build on it and lead them to success.
I would also like to note that this training was only 30 minutes. The rest of the trainings will take up the whole hour and they will be very interactive. So I appreciate all you guys turning on your cameras and giving us head nods and giving us some feedback.
Yeah, it's nice to see everyone's face after not seeing anyone for a year now. But that's all we have for today. So as Hilary said, these next coming trainings will be very interactive, and we want you to come ready to participate. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. See ya.
Nice seeing everyone.
Thank you.